Hi, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Scenes. It's Monday after a long weekend. There were two big holidays. So if you celebrated, hopefully, if you didn't get to be in person, you got to be on Zoom and you got to feel some love from some people around you. Um, so today we are going to talk about the small wins because we focus a lot on like the challenges and then periodically we like to come on here and tell you about our small wins. And they happen, like when you think about it, they happen throughout the day, but our minds don't necessarily store that part of the day. Like we're more inclined to store the thing that didn't go well, which is kind of a shame. In fact, I was thinking how, like, even in my memories of my life, sometimes the negative is the lasting memory. And then someone will say, well, that's not how it happened. And it's like, wow, that is so good to hear. Anyway, I don't know. I'm sure there are people that don't do it that way, but I think it might be our human nature and our inclination to just like default to the negative. So today we are about the positive, and we're going to start with Eka.
Good morning, everyone. So I was thinking back about this win, about small wins, and this happened years ago, but I still remember it. So it was obviously a big small win, or a big small whatever. Anyway, so what happened was when my daughter was in high school, she was working as a lifeguard at a private club, and it was also, they had snack bar, the whole thing. So she normally wasn't home for dinner. And one night we had barbecue. We were sitting outside and we were all finished eating. And she's like, is everybody through? And everyone's done? Yeah, sure. So she starts bussing the table. And my husband and I looked at each other. We didn't say anything. She started bussing the table and she took everything into the kitchen. And then we heard like a bag opening. And it turned out when she threw away the garbage, she realized the garbage can was full. And she actually had taken the garbage bag out and was putting a new bag in. So so I don't know if I can take credit for that win, because I think it was from her working at the club, which was part of what she had to do, was bus tables, clear tables, and then when the garbage can was full, she had to empty it. So I'm going to say it was a combo pack of us training her, and also what was happening at work. But I'm going to take that as a win for me.
That sounds like that's a massive win. I'm waiting for that one still. I want to tell everybody who's listening right now, we would love to hear your small wins in the comments. It makes it much more fun for us and engaging. So if you have a small win from the last however long that you want to share, we'll bring it up and we'll let everybody clap for you too.
So and just to carry from that, she still has those traits a lot. When she is with us, she still has that kind of, I think it was part of being in the service industry for as long as she was. So anyway, that was my win. And I'm going to send it over to Jody.
Eka, I just want to say that you're also telling is the power of a job, which we forget about, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there are some things that we try to ingrain in our girls. And then when they went out and worked, they realized it wasn't just mom and dad who thought that. And so then it just kind of reinforced it. So, yep. All right, I'm going to send it to Jody.
It's kind of like that muscle memory, where they finally learn something and they can. So I think back to maybe the only small win that I can remember as well. And that was when I had one kid who, when he was a tween, was absolutely addicted to playing video games. And I shouldn't say addicted, I'll go with obsessed, fine line. And I think he would wake himself early to go do it and just fill his time. And so finally we couldn't fight it. And we said, okay, here are some note cards, those 3x5 index cards. So you need to write down everything that you have to do today, and you need to do them, and then you can play. And it also included if he had like a practice or a piano, a lesson or whatever. So he had to know and to be ready, because he said, we're not going to get you ready. And if you're not ready, you don't go. And, lo and behold, apparently I was teaching executive function, which is a great skill. So he got so organized, and he would say, okay, you need to tell me in, at this time, and then I'll come up. And it ended all of our it was, for a while, it didn't always work, but on the good days, he just kind of took ownership of his schedule. The con was when he finished everything, we had nothing to say, and he could have been down in the basement for hours playing video games, which again, this was pre-COVID and everything else. But we figured, you know what, that's a win. He was still managing himself, and it wasn't like at the end of the day saying, oh my gosh, I didn't do this, and there was none of that. So that was really good. And again, Eka, it's kind of still part of his MO right now, where he kind of automatically kind of will get up, and in his, now we joke that it's annoying, but he will list out loud. People have to know it, what he has to do for the day and what's going to happen. And but it really, it was a great victory at that time. So, all right. Now I think it's more about patience. You just have to be patient and wait for them to, we can't make any suggestions. We have to wait for them to, have these wins. We can look at them, or we use humor to try to do it as they get older. But at that time, it was great. Okay. How about you, Jen?
Thanks, Jody. Eka, I was literally laughing out loud when you were talking about that, because one of the minor wins that we've experienced over the years is when occasionally, randomly, a child will unload the dishwasher unbidden, and it feels like you have won the lottery for the day. And it's I don't know why, it's just like a joyful experience. But I think it is random. It's not like I can count on it. So you take it when you get it. The win I have in mind for today is I had an experience where one of my kids reached out to me and said about the other one, I think the other one could use a little TLC right now, and maybe you could check in with her. And I was like, wow, this is a watershed moment for me. And it was so small, but it really felt like a big win, because they spend so much of their lives, bickering with each other and complaining about each other and just getting on each other's nerves. And then to have one advocate for the other felt like an enormous win to me. So that's the kind of thing that you tuck away in your mother's heart, and you're like, oh, they're going to be okay. This is why we had you both, so you could be each other's friends, and maybe it will actually work out okay. So I cherish those little moments. I'm going to send it upstairs to Sharon.
Good morning, everybody. I love these. I'm taking notes. I should have an index card right next to me, Jody, so I can write them all down. And I'm definitely hoping, Eka, that my kid who's hoping to get a job like cleaning bathrooms and changing garbage this summer, I hope that's going to translate at home. But the small win that I have is kind of an ongoing one, and it involves me asking the dumbest questions I can of my kids. So I'm trying to position myself as the person who knows nothing about certain things. And like, how the schedule changes every day for middle schoolers and high schoolers, like it's day A or it's day 5, and it's an odd day, it's an even day. I don't know what any of those are. And I do that on purpose, starting when they were in, like, I don't know when it started, because I really don't know. Maybe it started in 6th grade, but I'd say, do you know what day it is? I don't know. Mom, it's day 3. Oh, okay. So then they realize, like, this is a place where I could be smart, and mom is just, she knows nothing. So this has translated into me not having to know anything about their schedules for the most part. It does backfire once in a while, because I have a child who's supposed to be getting, actually it's done now, their temporary driving permit. And I was like, will you figure out everything you need to know? Yeah, it's happening, Jen. You figure out everything you need to know to make this happen. It will take you to the BMV. Well, 3 trips to the BMV later, and looking up the requirements myself online, I realized that there needed to be like a social security card and things like that. So it can backfire, but it has worked very well for school schedules and, theme days at school when they used to have those and all that. I know nothing about that. I'm incapable of knowing about those things.
Sharon, that is not a backfire. That is a win, because
to be fair, I mean, who among us hasn't been sent back from the VMV because you didn't have the right paperwork 100% of the time that happens.
Well, no. So the BMV is one thing, but the passport, 100%.
Oh, the passport is the worst.
Never, I mean, even when it says all the things you need, you get there and it says social security card or expired driver's license. And they'd say, oh, well, we require both. It's like,
Yes. Or you get there and then they say, oh, no, we only do that after 2 p.m. on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Or no, you must have an appointment, etc. So, okay, maybe the bureaucracy wins that one, no matter who.
No, but also what you win with that one is that, like, that was probably frustrating for him. And if you would have checked it out and gone with everything to start, he has no incentive. It's exactly your system. You prove your system's effectiveness.
I'm going to flip this into a small win.
It is a win. Totally a win.
It was frustrating and not fun. But such is life. All right, Jessica, I'll pass it to you.
Don't forget to put your comments in, guys. You're not being very communicative with us. You're being like teenagers.
Yeah, I'm not going to have a small win until somebody puts something in the chat. That'll be no. So and again, I don't have kids, so this is from my perspective, but I used to be very much the, like, not very good at scheduling things, finding my way. I panic very easily. I'm not good at a lot of that stuff. So my parents were very worried about getting both me and my younger brother our vaccines. And I was able to actually, the day that it opened for everybody my age, I went in and I found some appointments, and I was able to, make the appointment for myself. And then I called up my dad and helped make an appointment for my little brother. I woke up my roommate, made an appointment for her. And yesterday I drove down to, downtown all by myself, found my way all by myself, only getting lost once and not panicking. And, like, I was getting, all sorts of texts from my mom, like, do you need any help? Do you need me to drive you? I'd be happy to be with you if you need. And I was like, you know what? Like, I think I actually got this. I think I can actually do it. And I managed to in and out. It was just, it went very smoothly, and that doesn't usually happen to me. So I feel like.
Well, your teen mothers are all very proud of you. Just putting it out there.
Yes, Jessica.
Okay,
you are our vaccine princess. Okay,
Well,
we have some vaccine queens in Ohio, but you can be our vaccine princess.
So we have
awesome.
people who jumped on and made smiley faces and LOL. And Tara says she's just here to learn. She hasn't had too many wins just lately. But Tara, maybe like Sharon, you could look at something and think of how it built grit or something like that. And so it in fact is a different kind of win. And Justin says, look at this TikTok. Who needs driving lessons? I'm not sure.
Justin. Justin went to college with me.
Justin what?
He went to college with me.
Oh, well,
it's the Justin Lincoln I know.
So he should put the link there because we don't know.
Listen, give us the TikTok. Maybe TikTok won't.
Yeah, and then I'm going to show this one, and it says, rolling off a very busy weekend. I'm struggling to find a small win. Okay, Christina, well, maybe next week you'll come up with something, or later today, and you could put it in the comments. So my small win is a direct result of interviewing Suzanne Schneps, who I interviewed her on Thursday, maybe one of my favorite interviews ever. And one of the things she said, which it was, I think, her last thing, we were talking about when our kids hate us. And she also said very quietly, and when we hate them. But often it's a response to feeling unloved by our kids and feeling like we're working so hard. And why do they still show us so much hate? And she gave all these wonderful tips of what we can do, really, really excellent tips. And I'll tell you one of them in a minute because that's what I did. And at the end, she said, but keep in mind, no matter what you do, you are not making this go away. And I was like, that is an unbelievable piece of information to know, that we look so much for the right answer, the right way to respond so that we can kind of stop this dynamic. And her point is, it's there to stay. It will eventually go away because of age and maturity, But in the meantime, what you're trying to do is preserve yourself in that story and not escalate the situation. So one of the things she said that I did in my house really the next day, because, opportunity always presents itself. She said, when someone doesn't want to talk to you, and she does this in her practice, she keeps herself busy. So she doesn't want to be sitting there waiting, like eye contact, sitting opposite them, waiting for them to say something, nudging them to say something. She clips her plants. She goes around, she picks off dead leaves, she waters them. She just keeps herself busy. And so I had a kid come down who was just in such a foul mood, and I just kind of kept busy, and it went away. I mean, not like to a new human being, but it was like a solid piece of parenting advice, and probably just interaction advice. Okay, so Michelle has a comment we're going to share. Love that about letting different domains and parts of teen life be completely on them to learn about and be in charge of. I started this with my kids in middle school. Keeping their own assignments really took a backseat, and even checking their assignments and grades, and more often than progress report and report cards. With the exception of one son that struggled with this due to ADD and anxiety, this has resulted in high schoolers and college students that I'm assuming they can function on their own. Thank you for sharing. That's fantastic. And Justin actually is very funny, because his comment is actually, haven't seen, I don't know why it's not working today. Haven't seen such a video, but that all sounds likely.
I just want to say, Justin actually is a clinical psychologist and a family counselor, so I'm sure he might have some good tips to share with us at some point too about how to, trick our kids into unloading the dishwasher. Because that's
all right. Bring him on, Jen. Bring him on one day. Take a Tuesday or Thursday and bring him on.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I listen to me. I'm already booking. Having to talk to Justin.
Justin, you're booked. You are officially booked. Anybody have anything to add, guys? Oh, Jen, Jody, go for it.
I also have one small win to add, which is completely random, but in our family, we are sports fans. And so for the March Madness college basketball tournament, we always have a family pool. And I have not watched one basketball game this year, but I sat down and I filled out my pool, and fairly randomly, where there are other people in my family who really put a lot of time and effort and have, done, a lot of studying over the last months watching TV. And I want you to know that I am the one person in our family who has the two finalists picked who are going to be playing each other again tonight. So, yeah, but I also want you to know that my family also threw out the evidence of that. So there's a little bit of sore losers, but I said, hey, did anyone remember that I picked these two teams? Oh, well, that evidence, that is, somebody took out the trash, but whatever. But I'm still declaring my small win on the air right now.
That is a big one. Good for you. Gonzaga. All you have to know is Gonzaga, and you're there.
But I didn't pick them. I picked Baylor to win. So we'll see if I'm the big winner tomorrow or not. But still.
Okay, Christina has a comment to share. I don't know if it's going to stay up there because something's going funky. I did something very different. Did someone else? Oh, you know what? Jessica's always the winner with tech.
Another small win for me.
Yeah. Why did it work for you? Huh? I did something. First of all, my dog won't go down. So say hi, everybody. This is Riley. I did all these kids are leaving to go home, and she doesn't like that. So she's clingy. I did something very different. I asked my son a question when we were on the couch, and I could tell he was holding back. So saying the ABCs in my head 4 times in my head to give him the space to think and share it. Oh, that is just genius. That is excellent. Okay, Jessica, you got it off? Good.
I want to add one more quick one, which is that Jessica just proved. I was going to mention this one too. We have occasionally we've put our teens in charge of tech support for the grandparents, and that is a win-win-win, because the teens feel smart and helpful and useful because they are. The grandparents, it gives them some way to bond with their kids, with the grandkids, that isn't just, how are you doing in school? Are you dating anyone? And all those other questions they don't want to answer. And it gets us out of that mix, because my kids are way more patient with Grammy and Grandpa about teaching them to text or log on to Facebook than we would be. So I think it's always a brilliant solution to, let your kids be the tech expert in any situation.
It's such good advice. In my family, The problem is that there hits a point where nobody has patience anymore. Like you have said it so many times, and it's like it just hits a point where like it doesn't matter if you're the grandkid or the kid or Jessica Port trying to help my mother-in-law. You just hit a point where you can't do it anymore. So hopefully the grandparents in that story have a little more capacity. All right, anybody else? Nothing else to add. Okay, thanks everybody for being here with us. Have a great week. Share your wins if you think of them later. And check out Suzanne Schnepp's interview. I'm going to repost it today, but it was Thursday at 10:30. It's on Facebook, so check it out. It was really, really good. Bye.